Welcome back. Well, I've got a personal story to tell you. You know, I was a Vietnam vet, and I developed a kind of a interior animosity towards AK rifles. It's just one of those things. I've heard the same sort of thing from World War II vets that just refused to have anything to do with the 8mm Mauser, and I've heard of stories from people who didn't have anything to do with 7mm Mauser or any 7mm rifle, simply because they were the opposing forces' weapon. But I try to be a sensible person and not let emotions get in the way of practicality. I certainly recognize the genius of Mikhail Kalashnikov in his design efforts. Virtually, it's one of the extraordinary rifle patterns of the world in terms of its usefulness and practical application. It has really been around a long time, literally since 1947, and even somewhat before that, when it was first conceived by him. And it's been their mainstay weapon right along. That is the Russians' mainstay weapon right along. Of course, it evolved into the AK-74 when it was changed to a 22 bore, but essentially the same pattern has been used. And as I mentioned in a previous video, Nikita Khrushchev, I remember him well. He was quite a character, but he took his shoe off at the UN General Assembly when he came to New York in 1956, and he slapped his heel on the podium and warned the world that he was going to bury us, the free world. So in his endeavor to give this pattern rifle to the rest of the countries that had the same mindset of his, or more specifically the ones behind the Soviet bloc, the Iron Curtain as it was in those days, people couldn't get in and out of that side of Europe. Eastern Europe was basically locked down. So that's another story. But so I had developed somewhat of a interior animosity towards the rifle, and I shouldn't say that I hated it. I just didn't want to have anything to do with it. But it's a beautifully crafted design. You know, it lacks some of the finer. It lacks some of the finer, more. You know, some of the prettier parts of firearms. But it was not designed for prettiness. It was not designed for beauty. It was designed for entire functionality, and that's what Kalashnikov did. He was a very, very brilliant designer. He really, for a guy who started out as a tank sergeant in the early 40s, he ended up being wounded, and I won't go into the whole story, but basically he started out designing this rifle and some of its concepts from a hospital bed. And he eventually, you know, he was promoted to general for his design work and his assistance to the Soviet Union. But Nikita Khrushchev, your premier of the Soviet Union, he wanted the rest of the communist countries to have the same pattern. So there it is. This one happens to be a Yugo pattern, Yugoslavian that is. Of course, Yugoslavia as a country doesn't exist anymore. It's now Serbia, Croatia, and other countries that's been divided up. But this is Serbian made in a company that has been around for about 160-something years, Zastava. Now it could be Zastava. I'm not a Eastern European, and I can't. You know, I've asked some people. I do have a friend who's Croatian. Maybe I can ask her and find out what the actual pronunciation is. But I've heard it pronounced both ways. But anyway, the Zastava. This is a ZPAP M70. Now, what distinguishes this rifle over the earlier Zastavas is that this one here has the 1.5 millimeter thick receiver, which is really, I guess that's one of the classic features of the Yugo pattern, is that it's got a very thick receiver, thereby it allows them to use a lighter weight receiver while still having the practical strength of a milled receiver, and they've stood up well from every report that I understand. This one also has a bulged trunnion. It's got an oversized trunnion with a bulged receiver here, which increases its rigidity and strength. It's got a scope rail mounted on the side, factory mounted on the side. This one's got a chrome-lined bore. The M70 ZPAP features a chrome-lined bore and chamber. It's top-notch. It's got a push button that you can. Let me relieve this first, so I can open it. It's got a push button that you can lock, so you can easily remove the dust cover. I'm not going to tell you too much about its function because I'm going to send you over to I consider him the authority. Go over to the AK Shooters Union and see his presentation on this particular gun, which was made about 2 years ago. And since then, I think they've improved some of the features that he recommended. And I suspect that they were the recommendations because of his recommendations. But anyway, very, very, very slick design. It's got a push button so that it eases the issue of getting that dust cover back on. Enough, as he would say, enough of the BS talk. We're going to talk about this gun until the cows come home, but I want to shoot it. I can tell you this from already sighting it in. I have not sighted it in. I've simply checked out the sights and the sight alignment. I'm shooting to the right with this, and I noticed that the front sight is indeed canted somewhat to the left. And that's good news, because that means if I need to bring it to the left, I move the front sight to the right. So I'm probably going to be straightening it out, and I won't have any canting of that sight whatsoever when I'm done. It's also shooting a little bit high. But that aside, I want to check out some different ammo. I've got here some Igman. I think this is a steel case ammo. I haven't checked. No, these are brass. This is one of the finer grades of ammo, I guess. This is they're all 7.62 by 39, and the Igman is brass. I've got some Max Tech. This is steel. I got some Wolf. That's a steel cased 122 grain full metal jacket. I've got some Red Army Standard here, 122 grain also, and I've got some Norma. This is brass. Some Norma Tactical, which was it's a 124 grains. What's in the gun right now is tool ammo made by the Tula factory in Russia. Now, this is the one that's been printing somewhat high and to the right. So I'm just going to be shooting a 6 o'clock hold with these open sights. I'm shooting at 50 yards, because if I go up to 100 yards, I'm not going to be on the paper. So I'm just shooting at 50 yards, and I can calibrate what the MOA would be at that point. Remember that one MOA at 50 yards would be half inch. I set it up at 50 meters, so it's going to be a little bit different than that. We'll talk about the conversion afterwards. Let me get my glasses on, and hopefully I've got my wind guard on my microphone here. Let's see how that goes. Get my hearing protection on too. It's a really nice day here. The maples, all the sugar maples have fallen. What we've got left now is the oaks and beeches that are in bloom, and they're kind of rusty, but it's still nice. Let's get this rocking and rolling here. I hope I don't wipe out my camera. And it's got a nice trigger. It's almost a two-stage trigger. I'm bringing it back to a wall right now. I'm just going for 3 shots per target. The sun is beautiful on my sight, so I got nice sharp front sight. And as you can see, Zastava incorporates a bolt hold open. It doesn't actually hold the bolt open after you. I'm going to shoot the Russian stuff first, so that'll keep me organized here. I'm going to shoot the Red Army, but as I say, it holds it open to alert you that you're on your last shot. After that, when you remove the magazine, the bolt slaps shut. But that's okay. We'll give it a try. I can tell you the shooting quality of this gun. I've shot AKs. This one here, as Rob Ski says on the his AK Shooters Union channel, this is not an overgassed gun. Very, very light recoil. Okay, we're shooting the Red Army. It's another Russian-made ammo, steel case. Top left target. Now that red ammo is a little bit, Red Army is a little bit sharper recoil. I mean, not hard recoil, but it's a little sharper, so I can tell there's a little bit more poop to it. Well, there's 3 on that one. And the next one I'm going to go with the Wolf. Again, this is Russian manufacturer. Very much the same packaging as the Red Army. Whenever I see something like that, it gives me, I mean, right down to the paper tissue inside, wax paper. I would say, I wouldn't be surprised if they made in the same factory, so I'm sure I can investigate that and find out. Because a lot of times ammo is contracted. You know, you have different contractors that will apply for the manufacture of different things, whether it's toasters in the United States or, you know, military clothing or whatever. So there's no particular guarantee that anything is made by any particular company. Years ago, when I was at the when I was going to classes at Ruger in Newport, New Hampshire, I visited the Dorr Woolen Mills, D-O-R-R, and that was right on the Sugar River in Newport, and I was very much surprised to see that they were making Pendleton shirts, Woolrich clothes. There were about 5 different brands of wool clothes that they were making, and of course none of them had the Dorr Woolen Mills label on it. They had the Pendleton or Woolrich or whatever. So, you know, that's the way the manufacturing business goes. So now we're down to the bottom left target. Let's see if this feels the same as the last one. I'd say so. And just as a note, the sight, I have it set at 100 meters. The battle sight on this is at the 0 setting. That would basically put the sight so that it is shooting from 25 yards out to 300 meters, 25 meters out to 300 meters for battle purposes. But at that sight setting, the elevation is actually exactly the same as it would be at the 300 meter setting. So it was actually shooting much too high at 25 meters. So I moved it to the 100 meter setting, and it brought it back down a little bit. So now that was the Tula, the Wolf, and then I should say, and then the Red Army, and then the Wolf. And now I'm going to go with the last steel. This would be the Max Tech. Very similar packaging also, and this is also made in Russia. There's a different brass though. This one here is a really highly lacquered brass. It's not gray. It's more titanium color. It's got a little bit higher content of sealant on it. I can see sealant around the bullet. These are full metal jacket, where the others were hollow point. I got this rifle from, I don't normally, mention companies' names, but I got this rifle from DK Firearms, and I have to mention it because DK, I thought their service was extraordinary. I'm an M16 AR-15 guy, so it's going to take me a while to get used to that magazine, but DK was fabulous. I ordered the rifle on Monday and I had it on Wednesday. That's just, that's you can't get any faster than that unless you go to the store yourself. There was a just by mistake, the magazine wasn't shipped with the rifle, and I called up, and Linda was the one who answered the phone, and she had that magazine out to me. I had that in my hands in a couple of days too. So I mean, they're super company. So I will give credit to any company who's seeking to do their very best for the shooting community or for anybody. So thank you very much, DK. That had a nice recoil sensation. I can't really describe it. The report and the recoil tells me that it has good velocity, but the type of recoil it was tells me that perhaps the powder burning rate is more tuned to this firearm. It has a nice feel. The bolt was cycling nicely. So we're going to go down and check that target out. Again, we had tool ammo, Red Army Standard, Wolf, and then Max. And if I said that backwards, did I get the Red Army and the Wolf backwards? I don't know. You'll have to check out the video afterwards, but we'll check it out now and see. the best group. That looks like that's about 1.25 inches center to center, and so that would be about 2.5 MOA, probably a little bit less because I'm set at meters now. Remember, MOA is based on yards. The next one over here, I would say that group size is double, whatever that was. I believe that was the Red Army Standard. Why did I have that the other way around? We'll have to check that out in the video. This next one was not so good at all. That's really big. As you can see, they're all shooting uniformly to almost the same amount to the right. This one here, this was that last one. That's not a bad group either. So we'll take that. I'll mount new targets and we'll start over again. That was the Max Tech. That was also pretty good. So let's get new targets up. Okay. Well, I was a little bit surprised. You know, you can't believe everything that you hear sometimes, and that's why I always like to do my own testing and don't make any presumptions, because I've heard that tool ammo, this, that, and the other thing, and you just don't hear very good reports about it. But as I was able to see here with my own eyes, that was absolutely the best group of the four. Now, and that was relatively inexpensive, probably one of the cheapest, some of the cheapest 7.62 by 39 ammo there is out there. So it's a good bargain. How it hits, I don't know, but I mean, for popping, for popping water bottles at 50 meters or something like that, you can't beat it. Not at that price. So now let's try some brass ammo. I'm going to go with the. I'm going to go alphabetically so I can remember. Igman. I'm going to go with the Igman first of all. That's supposed to be some of the best ammo in the world. We're going to find out what it does in this rifle. But anyway, I want to repeat. I learned a lot about this particular rifle and its reliability by watching Rob Ski over at the AK Shooters Union. He was on a destruction mission with this rifle. He took the same one with the wooden stocks. It started out with the wooden stocks, and he gave it a 5,000 round torture test. No mercy whatsoever, and it survived it, and still had factory head spacing after the 5,000 rounds of what he did to it. You'll have to see that series for yourself. Check out his channel on it, and that impressed me so much. I knew I had to get. That was the rifle for me to get. I didn't want to get anything that was subpar. I wanted to have something that I could say was a very good rifle, and reliability-wise, I don't see how you can beat that. There were rifles that didn't take that sort of abuse, but this one certainly did. Now, you hear stories about what did I do with my hair? There they are. You hear stories about how chrome-lined bores are not as accurate. Well, I'm in my early days when I was 18, 19, 20, when I certainly before I went into the service and for a short while afterwards, I was a electroplater. And there's electroplating and there's electroplating. It's very difficult to electroplate an interior surface. It's a whole long story, but it's very difficult to electroplate an interior surface because you have to run an anode down the middle of that barrel. So I'd like to see the process, but I can probably tell you how it's done. I'm sure they run a wire down the middle of that barrel that's suspended at both ends, and it's not an easy process. But done correctly, there's no reason why chrome lining should reduce the accuracy whatsoever. Hard chrome is a very, very durable metal, and it can really extend the life of firearms for a much, much longer period than they were originally designed with just standard steel. So let's get at it. I'm going to shoot the Igman 3 rounds. Did I chamber that round? Negatory. So here we go. I had to flip my, I had to turn my rest around so that I could put the magazine between. I might get a 5 or 10 round magazine. I don't need to have 30 rounds all the time for just plinking. So probably pay through the nose for such a thing. But so here we go. Left target Igman. It's a sharp, clear sight here. Really, really bright sunlight. Nice trigger pull on this gun. Really nice. Now that one went off on me a little bit, so I'm going to put another one in there. That one caught me by surprise. My rest just shifted at that moment, at the moment that it let off. So it may have gone off before the gun shifted, but this is not the sturdiest rest of the world. It's a good field rest, but you know, if you, I've looked around at, come on, baby. I've looked around at various types of rests out there, field rests that you can buy. I have not yet found one that I'm satisfied with. It. They're all way too jiggly. This is not rock solid by any means, but it's got to be as solid as you can make it. You don't want to have something that's squishy when you put your body weight down. And this one's not squishy, but this business here, it's a little bit difficult. I've got my Russian strap on it with the regulation clip on the front end. So again, we're going to go with that left-hand target. I don't know what that other round did. Let that wind calm down just a tiny bit. That was a good let-off. Now, this ammo had a distinct crack to it. It had a little bit sharper feel to it. Not by any means objectionable. You know, these rifles have got very, you know, compared to most of the things I've shot in my life, these are pussycats. So, and as I mentioned in a previous video with the Chinese rifle, you know, these were designed tactically for full automatic fire. They were not designed with full automatic as a auxiliary use. As a matter of fact, they were designed with semi-automatic fire as an auxiliary use. So totally different battle concept. This is the Norma Tactical. Actually, it wasn't very expensive compared to what I could have paid for some ammo out there, but right target. Try to recover these brass cases because I may Want to reload them. Okay. Okay, the Igman printed a very large group. I would say that that's, well, that's at least, I don't have my ruler with me, but that's at least 3 inches. That would be a 6 MOA group with the Igman. Let me see if I can find that stray round. I believe that stray round might be this one right here. That's the one that I blew off, was this one right here. This is the Norma. Now the Norma is shooting pretty much dead center. The Norma's shooting dead center, and it's not, elevation is not too bad. But remember, we're at 50 meters, and I have my sights set for 100 meters. I should be, as a matter of fact, just a little bit low. I shouldn't yet be up to the 100-meter elevation. Well, I want to do a little bit of shooting. I'm going to sling up with a hasty sling here and see what I can do. That target right now is at 50 meters, and see if we can do something with it. Got to chamber around first. Oh, we got to settle down here. I got to hold way to the left. Well, the Zastava ZPAP M70, actually a really nice rifle. I've got to get an extension for this butt though. Probably I don't want to get rid of this beautiful American walnut, so I'm not going to be putting an Archangel stock on it. But I'm going to go for form over function and get just a extension rubber butt pad, I think, for that. A slide-on one, because for me, length of pull is very, very short. It's kind of, I need to be at least another inch longer. I don't know what the length of pull on this is, but it's much shorter than I need for my own 6 foot 2.5 stature. So it's a fabulous design. Very rugged gun. It's got that 1.5 millimeter receiver, bulged receiver with the oversized front trunnion. The rear trunnion is in the Yugo design, where it doesn't have a tang with screws in it coming back. Instead, it's got a through bolt, and I kind of like that. That's been traditional in many American and European firearms, sporting firearms, very rugged. This barrel is nicely guarded with this. I have the standard walnut top and bottom, wood top and bottom fore end, and that really sucks up the heat. I didn't get any heat distribution firing 30 rounds with this. The sights definitely need to be set up for me. They're shooting way off, so it's difficult for me to be holding off on a target. I mean, I'm all about sight picture, and if you're trying to keep your sights, your front sight sharp and clear, it's hard to do that and hold off on the target at the same time, because I'm kind of holding. I'd prefer to hold just center of mass or 6 o'clock. So, but anyway, we'll get that straightened out. It's an easy enough thing to situate. I just need to get a front sight adjustment tool for these. And but I found this particular, the standard old angled recoil suppressor to be more than adequate with this rifle. This has got very, very soft recoil. I suppose it would further buffer the recoil if I were to get a more aggressive recoil suppressor, but I don't like to have that extra muzzle blast on the side that they produce. I do like this. I do like this Russian sling. It's beautiful. I found that it's unissued. I guess this is not a Soviet one. This one goes back to, it's marked 2018, but it's nice, nice hardware. Everything about it's good. I like this rifle, and I like the. If I ever decide to put a red dot on it or something like that, or a low power scope, it's got the factory mounted side scope rail, very rugged. I think I made a good decision, and I give credit to that to Rob Ski with the AK Shooters Union, and if I said that right, I hope I did. He really put one of these through a meat grinder, and it came out a winner. So that's why I went to it. This is not a cheap gun. You're talking $1,000 for a Woodstock model like this, but it does come with the. It does come also with the cleaning rod, which is not typical, I guess, in the industry. I see so many of them that they leave that out, and to me, that's just one of those things that you have to have on there. It just goes with the gun. I like the black on white rear sight, and that's nice, natural white with the black lettering and engraving. It's beautiful to see. Very, very nice. Everything about the gun is nice. I appreciate it, and I give my hats off to Mikhail Kalashnikov for his very ingenious design work. Everything about the gun is functional. It's terrific. So I'm going to try to get over the issues that I had harbored for so many years, over the last 50 years, for this gun, because it was my opposition. But I have to be fair to the designer. There's nothing more, you know. As gun people, we're always saying it's not the gun that's evil. It's the person behind it and his intent. That's where the evil comes from. So the gun is not evil. The gun is a gun. It's a good design, and it needs to be appreciated for the beautiful engineering and very simple engineering that went into it. You know, we could learn a lot from some of the simplicity that is put into this gun. So thanks for watching. Benny's watching from the truck. I don't want to let him out right now because ticks are terrible out right now, and so I don't want to get him all infested and bring him home. Mom won't be too pleased. So anyway, It's always good to be out here with you on a nice fall day. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscription bell, and God bless.